real big parties.
Maybe we're going to
Not long at all, but this whole place crowded with people.
Yeah.
I can't see your faces and recognize them. It really makes me sick. And
Turn it on and off, yeah.
I don't know what is, I always think of speaking to
I was
people.
wondering about your generation, you know,
On
the
any
Great Depression.
Hey, look, it is major disaster now. Same thing, place in the world, east of course country over the United States.
Yeah, but they seem to hate us for it. Niger, Chad. Yeah.
You know what's going to happen?
They're going to look at having you say your name aloud and spell it for us.
James H. Martin, James Hunter, Huntermartin.
And you're a veteran of World War II.
Yes.
And what was your unit?
My unit was the 506 Parachute Infantry Regiment, 101st Airborne Division.
And when did you get into the armed services?
June 25th, 1942.
You remember the day?
Yes,
And when did you enlist?
I enlisted.
And when you enlisted, did you know what you were getting in for?
Sure, because that's what I enlisted.
For World War II?
Yeah, there's a little story to that if you'd like to know it.
Sure.
All my life I'd been interested in two things. I'd seen a parachute jump when I was 5 years old, and I thought that someday I was going to do this. But I was more interested in submarines. I'd read about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Professor Beebe with his fast escape. So I determined I was going to join the submarine.
I was an isolationist. I grew up listening to World War I stories. I was not going to go. The hell with them. I've been over there once and we're not going again. Pearl Harbor didn't touch me at all. That's over there. We got two oceans. Nobody's going to touch it. But then I saw things deteriorate over in Europe. And I realized that there's no way we could stay out of it. Because if we didn't, England and France were gone, then he'd be after us. But the thing that really got to me was, in the manufacturing side, they weren't giving me before. And they were drafting men up to age 35 with 3 kids. And here I am, a young man with a family to worry about. I'd have to live with that the rest of my life. That's what people's minds.
And you were how old?
21.
Did you know a lot about Hitler?
Oh, hell, we listened to him on the radio all the time. And Father Coughlin saying, burn up your draft cards, and he threw blood all over the records in these places. Yes, we heard it every day. Now, once they lost the navigator, they couldn't see. They just assumed from the amount of time that they were flying that they were where they were supposed to be. And that's what they got faulted for, but I can see how it could happen. I don't fault them for that.
No, yeah.
You know, we got messed up too, so you could say the same thing about us.
Fog of war.
Yes, that's the way it happened.
In addition to you guys going in by parachute, there are also these gliders who got all screwed up too, right?
They didn't come in till daylight.
Okay.
But they had a terrible time because they had all these poles set up in these little fields, you know, just a few acres at a time. And you're coming in with that, when they're landing, they're hitting around 100 miles an hour. And of course, you hit the slightest brush or a little tree, the glider just explodes.
Did you, while you're, you know, you're essentially, was your mission to join up with the guys who were coming east?
Now, when you get off the beach, it's a long floodplain before you get back to high ground.
Is that the hedgerows?
No, the hedgerows are after you get past this floodplain.
Okay.
That floodplain is clear. The last photos we had before we went in showed that dry.
Mm-hmm.
There's tidal gates on all the streams coming in, and you shut those tidal gates when the tide comes in so it doesn't flood everything.
Right.
Germans opened them, and all that, when we went, then all that was flooded. It would be anywhere from 2 feet to 2 or 3 feet deep. You'd be walking along up to your hips, and all of a sudden you're over your head. That's where our creek was. You couldn't see it. It's under water. So a lot of guys around there, after they were on the ground, they had a machine gun.
Big heavy pack.
And they couldn't get it off, and they drowned. Now what they had was going down to the actual beach, they had what they call causeway. That's a narrow road raised up about 4 or 5 feet above the terrain.
Right.
That's where the beach forces were coming in. There were 4 of those. We had to take those so they could come in. Colonel Cole led a thing in that charge and got the first one. He was right in the front and went right down that road facing machine guns. Firing right down the road and they're walking right into it. They took 3 of those causeways almost before the beach forces got there. That makes them come.